Are you eating fake food? Today we're going to be talking about fake food, what it is, and why you need to stop eating it. Stay tuned. Hi, and welcome to Nature's Path to Wellness. My name is Wendy, and today we're going to be talking all about fake food, or what I like to call frankenfoods. And today we're going to find out what fake food is and why you need to stop eating it. Let's dive in. We could sum up fake food and real food by simply saying that fake food is something you unwrap and real food is something you peel. Fake foods are highly processed foods that rarely resemble foods once they've been processed, packaged, and sent out for consumption. They are definitely not health or environmentally friendly when it comes to the packaging, containers, and wraps that are used for these foods. You can think about the BPA lining on cans and the PFAs or forever chemicals that are used in wrappers that surround food. And these foods are often laden with hidden sugars, preservatives, artificial flavors, artificial colors, texturing agents, carcinogenic nitrites and nitrates, bulking agents, chemical flavoring, and they've been made to be hyperpalatable, which intentionally makes them difficult to stop eating. You may be familiar with the phrase, once you pop, you can't stop.
Pop it up and get in the mood. Once you pop, you can stop.
Processed foods have intentionally been made for us to crave them, with up to 70% of foods sold in the US being hyperpalatable, with just the right combination of sodium and fat that makes you crave more, triggering the reward center in your brain, and a release of dopamine goes into your system, making you want that food over and over again. And it's not just a conspiracy theory. There are studies showing that this combination of sodium and fat in processed foods often contains lots of hidden sugars and may definitely be to blame for our obesity epidemic. They are often marketed as natural and organic, and that is really deceptive since original ingredients may definitely be organic, but once these foods have been processed the way they are, they're definitely not something that we should be eating. And if we think back to a time where we used to gather around the meal table, we would have breakfast together, and little Johnny was sent off to school with a sandwich and an apple. And, we wouldn't be eating all of these fast foods and processed foods. Mom would make dinner at nighttime, and we would gather once again to have meals together. And then there came a time around the 1980s where families got busier. Oftentimes there was two people having to go out to work. And so mom and dad would be out working and kids would come home after school and want to have a snack. And so there was something provided for them that was packaged and they could easily pull out and snack on until dinner time. TV dinners became popular and fast food drive-throughs became a thing with high calorie, trans fat, and high fructose corn syrup laden products, which became the regular fare. It became much easier to pick up a KFC meal on the way home with a bucket of secret recipe chicken with fluorescent green coleslaw or a Big Mac meal with supersized fries at McDonald's. Prepackaged foods became more popular that could be microwaved for ease and convenience, and foods laden with so many additives that they could be more shelf stable. We were told that butter was bad and margarine was better with all of its hydrogenated oils, and fats in general were demonized. And we moved away from heart healthy fats like olive oil because we were told that the fats we were consuming were causing heart disease instead of the sugars and the other additives. And we began to trust the food industry to supply us with what was healthy. We were told to consume 6 to 11 servings a day of bread and rice and pastas. And they forgot to mention how processed these things are. And after the 1980s, the use of GMOs and pesticides became more widespread, and these were used to grow the wheat and other ingredients for our pastas and breads that we were consuming 6 to 11 servings of per day. And now packaged foods and fast and convenient foods come in a box with so many ingredients that we can barely count them, let alone pronounce them. Before the 1980s, a lot of our fruits and vegetables came from local farms, and even some of our beef and other products and pork came from local farms. And instead, we moved into feedlots, and food became largely industrialized, and large corporations started to control the world's food supply. And there should be concerns around environmental sustainability. Foods are trucked and shipped all over the world, and nothing is any longer local. There's more concerns around food safety. We get food products from so many places around the world who have different safety regulations. And there's concerns around animal safety and welfare. And rather than the grass fed beef that we used to get, beef comes from feedlots and are fed GMO grains that are laden with chemicals to stop the feeds from going rancid, and corn that has been treated with glyphosate and other pesticides. Not to mention that there's reports of cows that are even being fed other animals that are rendered down as food.
Animals rendered down and added to the meal and feed that were given to cattle, whether it be roadkill or dead dogs and cats or even dead cattle that were killed on a feeding lot. Those animals would often be processed and given to the cattle as feed.
And I think it goes without saying that when you eat meat, you are eating everything that that animal has eaten prior to it becoming meat. And even the chickens that you purchase in the grocery store are often injected with sodium solutions in order to make them appear plumper. So, you've likely gathered from what I've had to share that we should be avoiding these fake and highly processed foods. But I'm going to share 8 specific reasons here. Number one, these fake foods have tons of refined carbs in them, which break down easily, causing rapid spikes in your blood sugar, leading to insulin resistance and type 2 diabetes. Number two, these refined and highly processed foods are devoid of nutrients. Your body is left unsatisfied with the food as it did not receive any actual nutrition it needed from your meal, leaving you hungry and wanting more food. Number three, processed foods lack any healthy fiber, which actually slows the absorption of carbohydrates in your system, again, leaving you hungry and unsatisfied, so you eat more. Number four, these fake and highly processed foods are processed to the point where they're so easy to chew and swallow that you actually use less energy to digest them. And we again end up consuming more calories, causing more weight gain and ultimately obesity. Number five, these fake foods and highly processed foods are loaded with trans fats, which causes an increased risk of heart disease, stroke, and type 2 diabetes. And number six, processed meats contain carcinogens in the form of nitrites and nitrates, putting you at risk for cancer. They also contain preservatives and hidden sugars and flavoring. And number seven is especially important if you have young children in your home because these fake and processed foods can affect developing children's health, including fine motor skill development, cardiovascular health, and can lead to early autoimmune issues. And number eight, these highly processed foods are associated with DNA damage and oxidative stress, which affects you on the cellular level and especially children. So, what are some examples of highly processed foods? If you're going to the grocery store next time, these are foods that you may want to avoid. Sugary cereals and even cereals that are masquerading as healthy cereals. Packaged snacks such as cookies and chips, baking mixes, instant soups, candies, sugary drinks like pop and energy drinks and fruit punch, hot dogs, corn dogs, and fish sticks, packaged breads, protein bars and shakes, ice cream, boxed or canned pasta products, including pasta sauces, margarine and spreads like sweetened cream cheese, fruit roll ups, and fruit bars. And according to recent research by Heart and Stroke Canada, Canadians consume an average of 50% of their daily calories from highly processed foods, and the biggest consumers happen to be children in their developmental stages. Canadians are only second to Americans in their consumption of highly processed foods. So now that you know what fake foods are and some of the ones that you should be avoiding, what should you be eating? Stay tuned. Next week, I will be doing a video all about real food and the types of foods you should be consuming. I hope this video has been helpful for you, and if so, please support me by giving it a thumbs up, subscribing, and sharing this video with somebody you know. I do look forward to seeing you next time, and until then, be blessed and stay healthy.